I welcome this important debate and thank the Honourable Member for Reigate for securing it very much. On behalf of many, many constituents who come to my surgeries, who write to me, who I meet when I'm out and about in many developments across Putney, Southfields, Roehampton and Wandsworth Town. And I'm speaking today on behalf of those leaseholders across the country, as well as my constituency, who feel that they're being let down by the broken system. One that continues to allow unfair and sharply rising service charges, poor communication and substandard services to persist unchecked, with limited rights to challenge these changes, leaving people feel like they're fighting this battle on their own. But we know from the number of members that are here today, we know from many other meetings as well, that these are issues faced across the country. And so there's something wrong not just with those individual managing agents that we're all thinking of today, but also with the system itself. And to raise that issue of regulation, the Honourable Member just before me raised that issue of regulation. Do we need more layers? But we also need to look at the fact that the current system and the checks and balances within it, and asking people just to go to the first-tier tribunal as the last resort, is just so daunting and so cumbersome that it's not actually being a proper check on the system. I really welcome the Government's decisive action to tackle long-standing injustices in leasehold and estate management. I thank the Minister who's here in his place today for all the work that he is doing on that and the changes that we know are coming. This is a debate that is full of hope for those changes making some of the difference. Ahead of the closure of the Government's recent consultation on strengthening leaseholder protections, I conducted my own service charge consultation in my constituency because I know what a big issue it is for so many developments. The results were deeply troubling and I have submitted them to the Government. More than 200 constituents responded and I think they speak for hundreds more themselves. Over 90% said that reported significant increases in their service charges. Even more, 96% said that they felt that those increases were unjustified. And that goes down to not only the poor communication, but the fact that many of those charges do seem to be unjustified. They're not isolated cases, as we're hearing in the debate today. In 2024, service charges rose on average by 11%, which is well above inflation of 2.5%, and averaging, in my constituency, £2,300 a year. I see countless examples of eye-watering hikes. For example, one constituent reported that their annual service charge increased from £1,600 a year to £6,660 a year. Another told me that they were sent an additional large bill right before Christmas to claw back more money from an error in their managing agent's accounting. And this happens often during the year, that the amount has already risen a lot and then it will rise a lot more because of extra charges that were made and services that were provided, or in many constituents' views, not provided. Too many leaseholders are being ignored by managing agents. They're being charged for services that are substandard or not delivered at all. Cleaning services that show no signs of leaving the building cleaner. Painting in areas that don't need to be painted or are communal areas or they know the charge would be less. Gardening services for gardens that don't exist in one case. One of the most shocking examples from my constituency came from a large development and they said that they report a revolving door of housing managers, inexperienced, unqualified, overstretched, unfamiliar with the building's history. The managing agents present accounts that simply don't add up, contractors are paid without checks, faults go unpenalised, and it's residents who are left to clean up the mess time and time again. The managing agent in question for this development has ignored numerous industry experts who've stated that important plumbing works need to be carried out. Some have said that the building is in serious danger of complete structural failure. Basic services are not carried out, and yet leaseholders continue to foot the bill. The managing agent is supposed to paint the exterior every 10 years, but nothing happens. It's the same old story again and again. There are 6 managing agents in my constituency that were named in that consultation many, many times. I'm not going to name them here because it is damaging for the people who are living in those developments. But it's clear that there are some good managing agents and some good landlords, but there are some very bad ones. And those are the ones that we need the new provisions in the bill to provide for. And under the Leasehold and Freehold Reform Act, there are proposals for greater transparency through standardised accounts, mandatory reserve funds and easier routes to challenge unreasonable service charge rises, and managing agents will face mandatory qualifications and enforced membership of professional bodies, all of which are very, very welcome. The previous Conservative government had 14 years to act on this, but only passed leasehold reforms in the dying days of the last Parliament that were rushed, poorly drafted and failed to ban new leasehold homes. So I'm very glad that this debate is a chance to talk more about industry regulation and going further on that, to welcome the Common Hold Bill coming forward as well. Leaseholders in my constituency across the country have waited long enough. The system is broken, the injustice is real, and the need for reform is urgent.